Welcome to the Pulse USA, where we provide insight, knowledge, and education on local businesses across the U.S.
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Pulse USA. Today we have a great guest, an exciting guest, Bill Shuler of USA Insurance in Newton, New Jersey. Bill, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, Bruce. Glad to be here.
Anytime. Bill, the reason I brought you on is, a lot of people are questioning their insurance bills, their insurance premiums, and everything that's going on in the insurance space right now. Why don't you give us a brief overview as to what types of insurance you actually can help people out with?
Well, Bruce, I'm a specialist in property and casualty insurance for both personal and commercial, so business. So think your own personal property needs, your auto needs, your boat, motorcycle, all that fun stuff. And then think of everything on Main Street USA. So every business that you would come across on any Main Street from New York to San Francisco, we can handle just about anything that's got an open door on that Main Street.
All right. Well, that's a brief overview and quite broad. But thanks for that. So why don't we start off, Bill, with one of the painstaking insurances that I'm sure that you not really care about as well is auto insurance. Because all of my friends, every time, do you know somebody who provides cheap auto insurance? And I always say to them, why do you want cheap auto insurance? Because I recently had a friend get into an accident, and the last thing he realized was that he was underinsured and did not have enough coverage. So why don't you expand on that a little bit?
Sure. The biggest problem with auto insurance in New Jersey, as well as across America, is that it's really become a commodity. People are thinking that they can just jump ship every 6 months, every year, just to change the premium and get the lowest possible deal. But sometimes that just doesn't work out for you or for the nation as a whole, because it creates so much instability. New Jersey is such a commuter state. People drive from Pennsylvania to get to New York, from New York to get to Pennsylvania, and everywhere in between. You never know who's got what on any given car. So the best thing I think any person can do, from the new car owner to the family with multiple vehicles to the one car professional, is to reach out to an independent agent. Just have them give you a review of what you have. Come to me, we can do the review, see where we think there is lacking, maybe tip you off on some area or aspect of your coverage that can be done better and more cost effectively. Then again, maybe you're in a good spot. And so we'll tell you that as well.
And while you're speaking on that, Bill, what actually can a person do to lower their insurance rates without giving up coverage?
Well, there's several ways to go about it. Anything you do nowadays is going to cost you a couple of grand. You back into the fence, you run over the kid's bike in the driveway. The branch falls on your windshield, you hit a deer. So you really have to be prepared. What am I willing to pay out of pocket in any given instance? Used to be, in the old days, it was $100. Then it was $500. Now it's more like $750 or $1,000. I say go the next step up, because if you go to the next step up, $2,000, $2,500, even if you had that $1,500 claim with $1,000 deductible, are you really going to put in a claim? Probably not. So you would have been better off carrying the higher deductible and the savings that gives you. The other side of that is, if you have a lower deductible and you're traditionally a good driver, you have good experience, your family has good experience, knock on wood, if you hear about claims issues, you usually hear about something stupid or something really bad. There's really no in between. So I would say try to take care of all those easy, stupid claims, my word, but the ones that you can satisfy with your own pocketbook and not feel too hindered by it. Many people just say, well, why am I carrying insurance if it's not going to pay out? That's hard to do anymore. The market just isn't, it's not the market of grandpa anymore. It's a forward thinking market where they want people to take more initiative, more meat in the game, more stake for their own actions. And way you can do that is take a little higher deductible. It's probably the biggest impact you can have.
That's great. That's great insight. I don't think people understand that. And the first thing they do is they call up, one of those large providers like Geico, and they're just looking for the lowest possible price, not realizing that they're underinsuring their vehicle, their home, and everything else. And then when
Yeah.
something catastrophic happens, they're totally exposed. They're totally exposed.
Yeah, and that usually, that Geico call or the call to the 1-800 whoever usually happens when you get the renewal bill and it's like, I can't believe I'm paying X number per month or per year or whatever that issue is. It's time to change. And I'm just going to go on the computer and get it now. But you're really often, very often, you're not dealing with someone with many years of experience. I have over 30 years of experience in the industry. I've seen a lot of things come and go. I've seen a lot of those direct markets come and go. You're better off going into an independent agent or even a local direct writer that we all know about who can interview you, look at what you are doing with your vehicle, look how your family is using using the vehicles, what your experience has been over the past time. What do you expect coming up? Are there new drivers coming, for example, new jobs changing where you're going to be putting in more mileage, what have you. An independent agent can then give you options that maybe a direct writer can't. The flip side of that is when you're dealing with an independent agent, you typically have a little more knowledge on the other side of the phone. Those 1-800 numbers, you could be getting anyone. You could be getting a call center in Spokane, Washington, not to blast them, but you could be getting one in the Philippines or somewhere else. You don't know who you're getting. By calling someone like U.S. Insurance Agency, Bill's going to be there, Rich is going to be there, Emily's going to be there, Michelle or Sharon. Someone is there to help out and provide some guidance. Even if we're saying stay where you are, it's the best deal at the moment.
And I know, honestly, you would probably do that simply because it's the best for that individual right there and their situation. So now let me ask you this now. If you go over into homeowners insurance, which is escalated significantly over the last, several years, what is it that someone can do to lower their homeowners insurance in today's environment?
Yeah, because similarly to the personal auto coverage, there's been some surging premiums and a lot of non-renewals, particularly on the homeowners. The climate issues, weather in New Jersey has causes some problems with those premiums and the costs and the coverages. Weather-related risks are becoming more often, or they're just reporting on them more often. The other key thing to remember is New Jersey is a coastal state. So the hurricane warning in Cape May could impact the entire state. So if you live in High Point and that's the day the tree branch falls out of the tree and in through your attic, you could be hit with a hurricane deductible, even though there were no high winds. It's just a dead tree falling on you. So that's the worst part about living in a coastal state. You could be captured by all those risks that are directly on the coast. So what do you do then? You got to look at look at the options that are available to you. Some insurance companies don't have specific hurricane deductibles. Some do, and they're sizable. Some will give you better credits if the property's newer. This is probably the toughest discussion to have, Bruce, with a homeowner, somebody who's got a home for maybe 15, 20 years or more. The first question every agent asks is, how old's your roof? Have you maintained the roof? And the key word there is maintain. As long as you're maintaining your property, whether it's business or your home, as long as you're maintaining it and you can document maintenance, that's a huge help to the underwriting of any homeowners or business owners policy that it involves property that has a roof on it.
It's funny you brought that up because a friend of mine was just canceled his insurance because he went to go switch insurance companies and they told him that the only way they'll underwrite the policy is if he got a new roof, and his roof wasn't leaking. There was nothing wrong with his roof. It was just 20 something years old, but they wanted a new roof before they would underwrite him on a new company.
Yeah, we've had homeowners who have slate roofs, 30, 40, 50
Oh,
year old slate roofs that are in perfect shape, doing the job. As long as you have a qualified, skilled roofer who can handle slate, of which there are few around actually, and you can maintain it, a slate roof will last centuries, really.
I thought it was
Yeah,
lifetime. I
yeah.
thought it's
Well,
like
yeah, there's no such thing. When we bought our house 30 years ago, and we had our roof done 10 years into it, the roofer was selling a 10-year, 15-year, 20-year, 30-year roof or a lifetime roof. What do we know? Give us the best one you have for the best price. And in that case, it was 30 years. So I'm on my last 10 years of a roof probably. But
okay.
but I've done everything I can do as a homeowner by cutting back trees to maintain it, improving the gutter system on the house. And that's what people have to do. You're gonna get nailed one way or the other on just about everything you do. If everyone can take that, everyone feels that they have that monkey on their back that's gonna, whether I maintain it or I don't maintain it, I'm gonna get screwed. I don't think that's the truth. If you do maintain it, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you can prove it, and then there's always an insurance company somewhere that'll provide a quality product and not just a fly-by-night company. So I'm talking a company with
What
100 years of history, sound financials that will insure you. You just have to. Maintenance is key.
And one other question, Bill. I've got a few good ones off that so that people can understand. But one other, when you do have a claim against your homeowners, when something like a tree falls, and it doesn't fall on your house and it doesn't damage your home, but it falls in your driveway and maybe takes down the basketball net. Do you know what I'm saying? Or does some damage to or the fence? It takes down your fence, and the damage is only $2,000 or $3,000. Is this similar to the auto insurance where you should just pay that out of your pocket so that you don't put a claim in against your homeowners?
Yeah, it really is very similar to that. Trees are a classic example because we've seen more and more of those type claims from windstorms in our communities, and I'm in Dover, I think I said, and so all across Morris County, because the trees that were cut down at the turn of the century for charcoal production are now gone, and now those saplings are 50, 60, 70, 100 years old, so they're much bigger. And if you don't maintain the trees will maintain themselves. They'll snap off in the high winds, they'll dangle there until they fall down on you. So your homeowner's policy will pay for that tree when it loses a limb or the whole thing comes down, as long as it lands on real property. A fence is a perfect example. Basketball, permanently installed basketball net, a car, the shed. But again, what do all those things individually add up to? If it was a big storm and you lost 5 trees, I would say, absolutely put in the claim. You're looking at a bunch of money to get it all cleaned up and the property replaced. However, the other side of that is, most of the cost of that tree removal is the removal. It's labor intensive. Those trees have to be cut up into manageable chunks, and unless you're keeping it for your fire pit or your fireplace, it's got to be hauled away or ground up. So I would say look at all the options available. That's another time to consider your homeowner's deductible. And I hate to say that I'm putting this all back on people, but this is being proactive. By keeping those deductibles a little higher, it means you're only having to bitch about things and to be really unnerved, because it is unnerving to deal with these claims maybe once every 10 years instead of every year. And let's try to lessen the anxiety that insurance unfortunately brings with it, just because it's a necessary evil. But it does serve a very strong purpose. And the other side of that is the tree that falls on the neighbor's house. It's still considered an act of God. So their insurance is going to take care of them. Your insurance is going to take care of you, unless they've put you on notice and said, hey, Bruce, your tree's about to fall on my house and here's a certified letter. You better have it fixed. And then the next day it falls over. Guess what, Bruce? You're out there with your chainsaw.
I'll just say I didn't get the letter.
Yeah, exactly. What?
Okay. But Bill, I'm telling you, I can't thank you enough for this information because a lot of people, insurance is a mystery to a lot of people. Let's face it, and having someone like you to be able to, not only convey, the right process, but to be able to accommodate is truly a gift. And I want to thank you very much for sharing your insight on this. And I'm sure that people are going to want to reach out to you, to have questions for you. So if that's said, and by the way, you also said that you would give a complimentary insurance analysis. Is that true?
Absolutely.
That you would?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, look, let's take it this way. If someone wants to get in touch with you for either an insurance question or the insurance analysis, how do they do that?
Well, a couple of ways. You can email me. That's probably the less controversial because you can just send it off and feel good about it. My email is bills@usinsagency.com, usinsuranceagency.com, usinsagency.com. You can call me on my cell phone. I always give my cell phone number away, and I found over 30 years people are very
accommodating with that.
You actually like getting it, but they don't overuse it. They don't call me at 3 in the morning. I don't get those calls. So my cell number is 973-476-5549. The agency is located right up in Newton on the Green, 17 Main Street. We're across from the old courthouse. There's always someone there that can help out. We had talked about this in previous conversations, Bruce, is that, people like to work with people they know, like, and trust. I feel that in the 30 years that I've been doing this, I was taught well. I was taught by conscientious and considerate, knowledgeable people, and I've tried to live a life of lifelong learning. So it's my desire to inform the public and inform as much of my public as I can to help them. And if it means they stay with the insurance company they have, but they're better for it, I know they'll remember that. And I've always gotten compliments as a result. So.
Well, I could see why. And I want to thank you again for all this information and insight. It truly was helpful. And I'm sure you're going to be getting a few emails, no phone calls at 3 in the morning from your cell phone. Bill, thank you very much for coming on. And I hope you can come on again sometime soon and share more of your insight.
Gladly, Bruce. Really enjoyed it. Always do. Thank you.
Thank you.